Welcome to I Say, my daily-ish broadcast where I just talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about while we're waiting on folks to join. I'm Cooped Up as my website. You can check that out at any time. I'm Cooped Up as my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow, particularly if you're on the Instagrams. And wherever you watch or listen to this, this is on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and then rebroadcast in audio format on all of the major podcasting platforms. Would love it if you could click on the bell so you do not miss a second of the fun. And with that, let's get rolling. Hey, Mama, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. If you can tell, my voice is still a little raspy. We had a really, really good time at Janet Jackson on Saturday night, and I was hurting most of the weekend from it, and not from booze. There's a whole story behind that too. I'll get to that momentarily. But the big moral of this story is that this last 7 days, 10 days, whatever, basically Memorial Day weekend plus last week and this weekend, which was Mason's birthday. Mason turned 14 yesterday. Has been just like one celebration after another. One little drink here, one little snack there, one little ice cream, one little cookie, all of that. And Daddy's gained 6 pounds. I also went off of my ADHD medicine in anticipation of the show Friday night. And that is an appetite suppressant. So combine all of that, plus I don't have my normal lack of appetite. Yeah, 6 pounds. I stepped on my scale this morning and I was like, whew, where did that come from? And I did not like the first number. I crossed back over the 2s. So we'll be remedying that very, very quickly. I'm still down like 30 pounds now at this point, maybe 29. But yeah, I was not happy about that. But it is a sign of a good time. So obviously, Memorial Day weekend, you just hang by the pool. We did a lot of work by the pool and stuff, but just hanging out, cooking out, eating, drinking, all that kind of stuff. And then last week I had a boozy lunch with Eric because he is a school teacher. He is in New York right now, by the way, so he's probably not watching this live at the very least. We had one of our long boozy lunches at Saloom because Saloom reopened. One of my favorite restaurants in Dallas had a flood. They had pipes burst or something like that, and they were closed for like 8 weeks. So they've reopened. So we went and had a celebratory lunch for end of school year because Eric is a teacher. Saloom reopening, all that kind of stuff. Lots of drinks were had. Lots of good food was consumed. And then Janet Jackson Saturday night, and then Mason's birthday. And then over the course of this, we kind of discovered that we rediscovered our love of blizzards from Dairy Queen. There's a Dairy Queen, like, it's not quite walking distance from it probably actually could be walking distance from my house if I wanted to walk that far, but it's literally just at the edge of the neighborhood and across the street. And it's only one. I can't think of another Dairy Queen in all of Dallas that exists other than that one. There used to be one up by SMU. I think there might be one up in Lake Highlands. But Blizzard, Oreo Blizzards, y'all. That is my jam, my little jam. So I had 2 of those last week also because the kids wanted them. And so my car automatically just drove us there, right? So, but Janet, I will say Janet by far was the highlight of my week, Janet Jackson. So I did not know what to expect. So Janet Jackson's concert was at the Dos Equis Pavilion, which is the outdoor kind of amphitheater with a big lawn. So some seats and then a big lawn out at Fair Park here, just outside of downtown Dallas. And I was like, okay. And by the way, sidebar, a lot of people were like, oh, it's so sad that she had to go there. Like, what? How disrespectful that that's where they booked her and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I thought too. I was like, well, this is an oddly small venue for Janet Jackson. Like, why wouldn't it be somewhere bigger? So I actually researched it instead of just saying, oh, I looked it up. And Todd did too. And did y'all know that there's only 1,000-person difference when it's set up for a concert between American Airlines and Dos Equis Pavilion, which used to be called the Coca-Cola Starplex. There's only 1,000 fewer people. So American Airlines Center can hold like 21,000 people when it's set up for a concert, meaning that the end is kind of chopped off and all that stuff. And Dos Equis Pavilion can hold 20,000 people. And it was holding all 20,000 of them. It was a sold out show for Janet. But I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, and it was a great venue, and it was nice outside that night. It wasn't too overly hot. And from a stage perspective, I would think as a performer, if you were trying to not spend a ton of money on the actual stage production, because think about it, if you go to American Airlines Center, everything has to be, you have to bring your own stage. It has to be set up. It most of the time has one of those runway things, the big screen in the back, the lights, all of that kind. I mean, just like the level that we expect now is so high that probably when they were booking Janet Jackson, they weren't sure what the response was going to be. So I think she's doing mostly outdoor venues on this tour, the Together Again tour. So we went. I had not been there in. I can't even think if Todd and I have ever been to a show there until this one. I know I dated a guy named Rob before that who had box seats there. And so we went a lot for that. And I've only sat on the lawn once ever. And that was for the Spice Girls in 1998. I took my boss, Ruth's kids, who are now probably, well, what is that? Math. Her kids, so that was like 35 years ago. And they were already, so her kids are in their 40s now. That just blows my mind also. But anyway, the long story short, it was a great time. What a craziness of getting in there, though. Like, it was so crowded. I actually listened to my voicemails later, and I actually got a voicemail from Dos Equis Pavilion at like 10 in the morning that morning that I didn't notice that I had, that warned about it was a sold out show, parking was going to be terrible, all that kind of. We took Alto, which is like Uber, there, and it was fine. It was just a lot of traffic getting into it and getting out of it. But Alto, it was great. I was so sore. I'm still a little bit sore. I was very hoarse on Saturday because it was like a magical Venn diagram of, I would say, 85% of the people fit into one of these three circles, and most of them actually fit into 2 to 3 of these circles. So I would say by and large, almost everyone was middle-aged. And by middle-aged, I mean 40 or older. And that's okay, because that's Janet's sweet spot. We all grew up with her. We were all there. So there was that. So there was a lot of sore hips the next day, all of that. And then the audience was, I would say it was probably 60% Black and probably 30% gay. And then the 10% was just random, like straight people, younger people, all that kind of stuff. So like we took our kids. I had 2 extra tickets. And so we took Claire and Mason with us. They went kicking and screaming, and I had to kick and scream to get them to go. Trying to turn off the internet, all that. Guys, like, you've never been to an outdoor concert. You're going to regret it. You're going to have so much fun. I promise it's going to be fun. Yes, fun. Got into the car, got the silent treatment the entire way until we got to set up our blankets sitting there, and even a little bit then. And then we started buying like funnel cake and stuff, and they started loosening up. By the end of the night, they were videoing stuff. They don't know many of the songs. And they know like the big songs. They know like Together Again, Rhythm Nation. I think there's one other song, that Scream with Michael Jackson, which I welled up. I'm not going to lie. There were 2 songs that she sang that made me almost cry. I did not cry all the way, but I almost cried. One of them was Scream, her duet with Michael Jackson, because to me, that was the closest I will ever be to seeing Michael Jackson in concert. Also, I did not realize how much they sound alike, like how similar their voices are, until I really started thinking about it. And then there was another song. Oh God, I can't remember which one. It was one of the slow songs. What was it? I do love you again. I can't think of the word. That's the last line of it. But anyway, it was just very sweet, very nice. And so I started kind of tearing up on that. And I was with my friend Lisa, and Sandy was there, who watches regularly. Hey, Sandy's on here. It was so wonderful. That was one of the highlights also, was that we got to see Sandy. So I don't know Sandy. Like my entire existence of life of knowing Sandy has been since the pandemic, since I started doing these on a daily-ish basis. And I think that Sandy, did you used to follow Carrie maybe on her Instagram? And then when she uh, started kind of doing little guest spots here on Cooped Up Live, I think you kind of converted over or came over with that. And so we've exchanged emails and or texts or whatever, messages, all that kind of stuff. And but never met in person. We've almost met in person numerous times. I think we've actually even been in the same room a couple of times at just like big events and stuff, but never actually made it happen. But this time it was wonderful. It was wonderful to meet you, and it was fun hanging out and dancing with you. It was a funny story about Sandy that y'all are going to laugh at. Is that so? The opening act was Ludacris, which, by the way, I know no Ludacris songs. I thought I did. And I started singing like in the car on the way there. I was like, oh, he sings this song. Carrie's like, nope, that's so and so. Oh, he sings this song. Nope, that's Zibit. Oh, he sings so and so. Nope, that's so and so. Like, I didn't know any of his songs. I know who he is, like, visually, because I know him from like the Fast and the Furious movies. I'm a fan of his acting work, is basically what I'm saying here. And I didn't know many of his songs. I knew a couple of them. I knew like "Move, Bitch, Get Out the Way, Get Out the Way." I knew that song. But there's one song that I'd heard of. I knew of. I didn't know it was him, and I don't know the words to it. But "Hoes in Different Area Codes." I could be getting it wrong, but basically the gist of it is I got hoes, I got hoes, I got hoes in all the area codes, right? Well, hilariously, Sandy shows up. She's got a baseball cap that has 214 on it, like the area code 214 on it. And it didn't register with any of us until people started coming up to her and asking her where she got the hat, where she got the area code hat. And at that point, I'm like dying. I'm like, that is like the funniest thing that has happened all day to me when Sandy Graham is the hoe and the 214. Like, I thought that was so funny. But yeah, anyway, the kids also were shocked at how ill-behaved adults are. Like, we were all dancing. There was some people grinding on each other. Because basically, if you're on the lawn, it was so sold out that it was like blanket to blanket. There was no walking to get anywhere. I got there on the blanket, and I did not leave the blanket until we left the venue. A couple of times Todd left because the kids needed to go to the bathroom or wanted to get a funnel cake or whatever. Todd came back with a White Claw. I had 2 White Claws. You know what? That may be 2 more than I had ever had in my life beforehand. I had a mango one, which was okay, and a black cherry one, which was quite nice. And that's all I drank the whole night, was those 2 White Claws. And anyway, the lawn was fun, though. We stood the entire time. Everyone was dancing, going on. And one of the cool things about it that I liked over potentially being in seats is that you could move around. So like, and not just dance and move around, but like you could, if I wanted to go talk to Carrie up in the front, I could. Or if I wanted to go see my friend Lisa in the back, I could. And so we were just kind of mixing and mingling a little bit, which I thought the kids were in different places too. Because my friend Tam brought her son, and then Sarah Vivona, who was like a rock star of helping us find our spot. Actually, I don't think she goes by that last name anymore. But anyway, she brought her sons too, Luke and Nicholas, and the kids hung out with them a little bit. But dancing. I hurt the next morning. I hurt the next morning. So we got in the car. I think we were finally in a car. So the show, we got there at like 6:45. And I believe we got in the car to come home. It was after 11 because we didn't get home until like 11:30. We ordered a pizza from the Alto car, and Pizza Hut was closed. Papa John's was closed. Only Domino's could deliver to our house. And so we got here, and shortly after we arrived, the pizzas arrived. And I probably stayed up until like 1:30, 2 o'clock, which if you know me very well, you know I'm more of like a 9:30, 10 o'clock person. So I was spent on Saturday morning, and we had to be somewhere Saturday morning. I can't remember where or why. It's fallen out of my brain, but it was, yeah. Um, my mom's saying I love that Claire and Mason got to experience it. Yes, they afterwards. I didn't even have to say. I wouldn't even like. So now, are you glad you went? I didn't even have to do it. I told you so, kind of thing. They came to me and they were like, "Hey, that was a lot of fun. Sorry we were such dicks, and glad you made us go because we really enjoyed that, and we want to know more Janet songs too," which I thought that was really sweet. A nice little extra touch there. Um, Funny enough, interestingly enough, so I bought tickets for a bunch of people just to go with us, just to have a good time. So I knew who was with us, all that kind of stuff. And my friend Lisa from college, who I see on and off. I mean, since college, I've probably seen her maybe 10 times, but I follow her. We text each other. She's just one of those people that's a good time. I love her spirit. She and I have a ton of mutual friends, all that kind of stuff. So she was one of the ones that I invited to go with us. And so we're going to get in line to get into this Dos Equis Pavilion. The line is like around the building like 5 times. But we're walking. She's like, "Cooper, right here." And so we go join her in line right there, listen to the kids. If you know people, it's completely okay to cut in line. That's not the right lesson. But they were like, "Are we allowed to do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, we were already with her. We were just waiting. Wait, we were with her." Yeah. And so I'm in line, and Lisa had a bunch of friends that came also with her. They bought tickets otherwise, and they ended up sitting with us too. But Lisa isn't introducing me to like these 4 friends that she brought, and one of them is one of her friends from childhood, I think. And then she goes, and this is Anna, and Anna looks at me and goes, "Cooper from Donna, Texas?" I'm like, "What?" And I didn't. We went to high school. I unfortunately did not recognize her from high school. She's a year behind me, but she remembered me. Not a hard thing. I was the tallest, whitest, gayest thing in South San Antonio, basically. So I stood out. But Anna was dating Lisa's best friend, or one of her best friends. Anna is dating, and I went to high school and junior high and high school with Anna. Just crazy small world. I was just like mind blown about that. So that was hilarious. And but again, a lot of Advil was taken after the fact. Maybe a little ointment on my shoulders from dancing. Surprisingly, not as much pot smell as I would have expected, but I guess maybe they control that. Sandy is saying the White Claws cracked me up, which registered the age group. All of the 40-somethings were drinking them, yes. I've never had a White Claw until then. I cannot think. Maybe one ever. And I can't even think of when I would have had a White Claw. Yes. And then Mason's birthday was yesterday. What did we do? We invited a friend to go with us to Dave & Buster's. That's always his favorite place. First of all, we opened gifts. So Mason, for gifts, he wanted like a crossbody bag. So I got him one from Lacoste. Is it Lacoste or Lacoste? I've always said Lacoste, but I actually think it's actually Lacoste now that I'm saying it out loud. Cute little, it's kind of like maybe the size of not a legal envelope, but somewhere a little bit smaller. And so he was very happy about that. He wanted some nice cologne. He had smelled, I wear Joe Malone cologne, which is pretty expensive, and you can only get it in certain places. I wear the mandarin lime basil, mandarin lime, like mandarin lime basil, something like that, whatever it's called. They're all like fragrances of like earth stuff, flowers, fruits, that sort of thing. It's not like they don't have a name like eternity or something. And so basil lime mandarin. Is that the one? Is that what it's called? I've worn this forever. I can't believe that. And so I have a sample of the orange blossom one, which I like. He smelled that on vacation in Mexico, did it, and he was like, "I want that." So I went and bought him some like $100 thing of it, and which is a small little amount. And he got that and he was very excited about that. But I was like, dude, here's the thing. A little goes a long way. This is very expensive. So use it judiciously. You do not have to wear it every day. It does not replace deodorant. It is an add-on, not an instead of for deodorant. Kids need to know that. That's a very important thing. What else? I got him some pajamas. Boy loves some old man pajamas, like the button-up ones and the pants, like a matching set. Got him 3 sets of those. Some polo shirts. He was not all that impressed by that. Robux card, some batteries, because I make him buy his own AA batteries for his video games because he just goes through them too fast. Anyway, Leslie's saying, what the hell, dude? I take you as my +1 to see Sting in a suite with limo service. Oh, Leslie, I don't think you would have been able to navigate this. I almost fell like 16 times just trying to get to our spot on the hill. It was so crowded. I had to take off. I started falling out of my shoes, so I had to take off my shoes and walk barefooted so that I wasn't falling down the hill trying to get to our blanket. It's crazy. Anyway. Mason and Claire are adorable. Mason is tall. He is tall, right? And Cooper from Donna, I mean, it was just like, are you Cooper from Donna, Texas? Like, I was just like, and Todd is like, come on. How does this happen? So it's so funny. But Dave & Buster's was fun too. Again, drank, ate, and then, interesting thing. So Mason specifically wanted a cookie cake for his birthday, right? He loves like a chocolate chip cookie cake. And I normally buy them at Tom Thumb, the grocery store here. And I went in last week to go get a cookie cake. And guess what? The Tom Thumb told me that system-wide, all of their stores are out of the dough required to make the cookie cakes. So they couldn't even make them. And so instead, I just went to Tiff Street. I got a manicure right before we went to Dave & Buster's, and there's a Tiff Street store right next to it. So I picked up a bunch of Tiff Streets and brought those instead. And then a tub of ice cream, too, which I also partook in. So, like I said, the more I think about, like, eat, drink, eat, drink, I'm like, oh, of course I gained 6 pounds last week. I feel like I gained 2 pounds on vacation in Mexico and lost those within like 2 days of being back. So Judy is asking, where can I find those old man pajamas? Sounds like a great gift idea. I got these from gap.com, because I like their fabrics better, but Amazon, you can get tons of them from Amazon. The thing about the ones from Amazon, when I've ordered them, they've either been too heavy, because I want them in that like poplin, like not linen, but not, they need to still be airy, right? I've ordered some that are too flannelly, and the flannel ones I like suffocate in personally, and Mason doesn't care for those as much either. So Gap is kind of my go-to for such things. Plus they wash well, they're good quality, all of that. So look at the Gap. They are a great gift idea, by the way. And then, I don't know, my sister is at Disney World this week. They got there on yesterday. And she's been texting me updates from it, trying to make me jealous that we didn't go. We couldn't have gone if we wanted to because the kids are still in school. My children do not get out of school until next Thursday, so a week from Thursday. But that's why we got to go to Mexico for a week. I think we've only been back from Mexico for 3 weeks now, something like that. I feel like we were just there. So anyway. Alrighty, well, let me look through the comments. If there's nothing else, that's it for today. Claire's got roller derby practice tonight anyway, and I need to get some stuff done before I leave at 5:30 for that. So, alrighty, well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were. Oh, we did not go to Pride, by the way. We did not go to the parade yesterday. Mason's birthday. He didn't want to go. He wanted to go to Dave & Buster's. I was fine with that. Dave & Buster's is air conditioned. I've been to Pride enough times that it's okay. I'm plenty proud without having to go to the parade. So I hope everyone had a good time there. And with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. This is my therapy, and I do miss you when I am gone. I missed Friday because I took a nap to pregame for Janet Jackson. I never do that, but I'm glad I did because I don't know that I would have made it the whole night otherwise. Take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. And I will be here most likely tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye.